Well, we have new details tonight about the 78-year-old former nun caught breaking into the Kings Bay Naval Station base in southern Georgia. She and 6 other activists, all over the age of 55, have been indicted in federal court in Georgia. First Coast News reporter Eric Alvarez has the latest.
The activists who call themselves the Kings Bay Plowshares have been in the Camden County Jail since April 4th when they were arrested for breaking into the Kings Bay Naval Submarine Base. This week, the federal court of the Southern District of Georgia, Brunswick Division, handed down indictments to all 7. They're charged with conspiracy, destruction of property on a naval station, depredation of government property, and trespass. An affidavit says the activists were found with bolt cutters and destroyed the perimeter security fence, then vandalized parts of the base with spray paint and even their own blood. The oldest is Elizabeth McAllister, a 78-year-old former nun. She agreed to a jailhouse interview with First Coast News, but the Camden County Sheriff's Office did not allow our cameras inside. The activists are set to face a judge in Brunswick on May the 10th. Eric Alvarez, First Coast News, on your side.